to have a smart house. Just say, Alexa, play 93.7 The Ticket, and we'll magically start playing. How's it work? Nobody knows. Don't ask questions.
Have a passion for the outdoors? Nebraska Game and Parks is seeking seasonal teammates. Work in scenic state parks, contribute to vital research projects, and care for our natural spaces. Seasonal staff assist with special events, provide customer service to outdoor enthusiasts, and make a difference for conservation. Join the adventure at outdoornebraska.gov. Apply online today.
Paid for by Nebraska Game and Parks. Aired in cooperation with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Thousands of people in Nebraska and Iowa are in need of assistance as recent tornadoes displaced families, destroyed homes, and devastated communities. Serve Nebraska invites you to help those affected by the storms by donating to United Way of the Midlands, Nebraska and Iowa Tornado Relief Fund. To donate or sign up as a volunteer, visit unitedwaymidlands.org/tornado relief. Paid for by Serve Nebraska, aired by the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
This is Bree Fansteel, local race car driver. Join me and James Rowland every Sunday at 7 p.m. for The Finish Line, where we discuss off-road, on-road, and sometimes next-to-the-road racing on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
I think it's just vapor.
Vaping is safer than smoking, isn't it?
There's really not even that much nicotine in them, right?
One vape pod has as much nicotine as one pack of cigarettes.
My kid
knows it's dangerous.
5.4 million American kids vape, and most think it's harmless. Get your head out of the cloud. Talk to your kid about vaping. Visit talkaboutvaping.org. That's talkaboutvaping.org. Brought to you by the American Lung Association and the Ad Council.
High schoolers, unleash your creativity and learn about potential careers in broadcasting at the Digital Expressions Media Camp. Have fun, make friends, and get hands-on experience with video and radio production June 9th through the 14th at the University of Nebraska at Kearney. Scholarships are available from the Nebraska Broadcasters Association, and spots are limited. Learn more at digitalexpressionscamp.com. That's digitalexpressionscamp.com.
When it comes to making plans, you are the best. What about those round trips, which are perfect on your way there and perfect on your way back? Or those meetings with friends, surprise parties, camps, birthdays. The same way you plan for the important moments, start planning to protect you and your loved ones from a natural disaster. Sign up for local weather and emergency alerts. Prepare an emergency kit and make a family communications plan. Get started at ready.gov/plan.
Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet, KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
For over 15 years, Integrated Life Choices has empowered individuals with disabilities in Lincoln and throughout Nebraska. They provide comprehensive services from group homes and independent living services to job training, ensuring fulfilling lives for those that they serve. Now, they're inviting you to join their mission. If you're passionate about making a difference in the lives of people with developmental disabilities, explore rewarding career opportunities with them. Learn more about their services and apply today at www.ilc.net. Be a part of Integrated Life Choices, where your work truly changes lives.
Welcome into Fitness Fanatics on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Now here are your hosts, Jeff and Nicole Essig.
All right, welcome into the Fitness Fanatics. It is Sunday, May 26th, Memorial Day weekend. Glad everybody's joining us here today. We got Husker baseball coming up at the 10 o'clock hour. Not on the ticket, but that's when it starts, unfortunately, since we'll be in here doing a show. But if you're listening, we'll take you up to that. We'll also give updates. Hopefully, we'll have this game on somewhere in the studio that we can keep an eye on while we're doing the show over the next 2 hours. So welcome in, Fitness Fanatics. Hour one here is sponsored by Integrative Life Choices. ILC is hiring direct support professionals all over the state of Nebraska, full-time, part-time, days, evenings, and weekends. If you're interested, you can apply at ilc.net/careers. Direct support professionals work to ensure a meaningful life for the people they support. They work to support people in achieving their hopes and dreams. So big shout out to Becky Moratsky and ILC for all their support for our show. We do have another sponsor of Fitness Fanatics, which we'll get to at the 10 o'clock hour.
Yep.
Big news.
Stay tuned.
Two
Massive
sponsors
news.
now. Oh, it's massive news. Yes. So that'll be coming up at the top of the hour. We do have a guest coming up at 9:30. One of our FIT members at the Meadow Lane location, Misty, will be in with us. She has a pretty awesome story that she's going to share today. So, Nicole, we are back in studio. Last week, while Crystal and Kelly were holding things down, we were out doing athletic things, fit things. We did the Prairie to Prairie run, bike, run. So Nicole ran a 5K. Then I
At Pioneers Park.
At Pioneers Park, that's where it started. And then I rode
Slash
walked
your bike.
15-mile bike ride.
Did you get to a steep hill?
Oh, it was just
It was on gravel, and he hasn't been on his bike. He got it out of the shed on Thursday. It took one loop around the block.
Rode around the block. Got all my training in. No, it was I've never rode a bike on gravel like that ever.
I'm not gonna judge. We've looked at the trails before.
Yeah.
That looked daunting.
And this wasn't a trail. This was a straight up gravel road.
Straight up gravel road in the country.
Between Pioneers Park and the Spring Creek Audubon Center.
Yes.
Whatever, nature center. So it was not even a trail. The trails here are pretty decent, even the like limestone ones. So gravel road is just, it was very hilly, very hilly.
Well, and when you're out
allegedly,
when you're out on a regular road and you see a big hill in the distance, usually if it goes up, it's been going down, right? So you can get momentum, so you can just start pedaling. So you don't even have to really try till you're like over halfway up the big hill. But out in the country, I'm just trying not to crash, right? So I can't get very fast because I'm trying to stay in the little where all the other bikes are, like in the little trail
and it had
there.
rained overnight too.
Yeah, it rained on early Sunday morning. It was raining.
It was wet. Gravel.
And I was fearful. I mean, it was
treacherous.
It was treacherous. And
well, you made it. We're glad you're back.
I had to get off the bike and walk my bike up the hill, a couple hills, maybe 4 or 5 times.
I guess if it's super muddy though, I
so
can see
bad.
that your tires are just giving underneath the gravel. That would be daunting.
Well, and
luckily you had that to blame.
Yes, I had a lot of things to blame for my poor performance. In fact, had Nicole waited for me to actually get back from the bike, we probably would have finished last. Every single team because my bike performance was so bad.
Our first run was actually pretty good. I was actually really happy with our first run because it was out Pioneers Park and it was paved. The second one, I don't know if you've ever been to the Spring Creek Audubon Center. Probably not.
No.
Yeah. So it's kind of out by Denton. I think I had to drive through Denton.
Yeah,
to
we
get
did
to it.
drive through Denton. Yes.
So it was a true like running through a prairie, and it was hilly too. You had to like run up a hill to get to this like. It was rough. That one was rough. So we walked a little more of that one than we had planned.
Yes. So then she had to run another 5K.
That second 5K was a little harder for sure.
But the bike was ridiculous.
We did not wait for Jeff.
No. In fact, I think I finished my bike ride. They were wrapping up their second 5K.
Well, it was close, actually. We almost finished the second one before you got back. I probably would have pushed Megan and Laura a little bit. That they wanted to walk a couple times up a hill. If I would have known it was going to be that close, I probably would have pushed them a little harder to get back before you.
How was the weather? I saw the entire state of Iowa was in tornado watch. Or no, were you guys?
We were in Nebraska.
It was in Nebraska. It was here. Pioneers
Park, in Iowa.
Denton, Nebraska.
Park.
No.
Yes.
What was the? I'm mixing up
town.
the run we were looking at the other day.
Must have been looking.
I
at
thought there was like
run.
a Pioneers trail in
No.
Iowa that you guys were doing as well.
No. It was here.
All right.
It was here.
I'm
It's
just
local.
speaking nonsense.
It's put on by the Lincoln Parks and Rec.
Okay.
Yeah. So no, it's here.
Right around the corner. Yeah, you guys weren't
Literally.
far at all.
No,
we weren't far at
And we
all.
were listening we caught the show a couple times. You heard it a little bit while you were waiting.
No, I started at 9 and got done at like 10:50.
Oh, okay. I heard a couple
It's
snippets
not enjoyable at all
of the show. I heard Harrison complain that he just wasn't going to get his Bears talk in.
Yeah, I did hear that. Well, I did go.
Me brought it up like once.
I know.
I
I just happened to hear that part.
Did go back and listen. We did listen to the whole show.
Yeah,
Yes.
we talked about Caitlin Clark instead.
Yeah,
that
did.
was our
You
sports
did.
segment.
Yes.
Women's sports.
Which they suggested.
Yeah.
I didn't bring up Caitlin
That's
Clark.
Oh
okay.
no, it's fine.
That's
No,
okay.
they're-
They did a good job though.
The
Oh, yeah, it was
Shout
fun.
out to those
The
guys.
Would You
Come on.
Rather was funny.
That was
Uh-huh.
pretty good. Those were good ones she was
Yes.
bringing up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was good and engaging. That was good because I was even talking to myself like, oh, I think I'd rather do this, which is good.
That's
Yeah.
the point.
Yeah, no, they did really well. So hopefully we have other stuff going on later. They can fill in for us again because they loved
Absolutely.
they had a blast.
Yep.
So I went out, we did this bike ride and it was a miserable experience for me. So this week we decided to do a section of Ragbri, which is the ride across Iowa. So in July, Nicole and I are going to go on a 75-mile bike ride in one day. So that's
Have you
what
ever
we
heard
do.
of Ragbri before?
What's that?
Have you ever heard of Ragbri?
No, never.
Okay.
I went
It's-
over my head completely.
Yeah,
until broke it
I
down.
mean, it's a big deal when you're in Iowa. It's like registered. It used to be put on by like a local like newspaper, I think. So it's called Register's Annual Great Bike Ride Across Iowa. Is what it stands for. But if you do the full week of Ragbri, you literally ride your bike all the way across the state. So, but we're only doing one day of Ragbri, and that's 75 miles, and it is extremely hilly. You're driving. It's not gravel, but you are driving down. I can't say the word. Those highways that
Highway, a byway.
no, the word. You know the word I can't say. Like I physically can't say it.
Rural,
Yes.
rural highways.
I can't say that word. My brain won't let me say
Which
it.
we have a lot of those in Nebraska, right?
So you're
Yeah,
driving
yes.
down those highways, so it's very hilly. And it's fun because we're going to go through kind of my neck of the woods. I grew up in Carlisle around Indianola, and it goes through Indianola. So we got it, and so we went on an 18-mile bike ride on Thursday.
Yep. And it was fine.
No,
For
it
me,
wasn't.
she complained the whole time.
I did. I still did it.
But that's me. I'm like, hey, why don't we go on a bike ride? And then she was thinking, oh, we'll do like 6-7 miles.
I was
Nope,
thinking
we're going
10,
18 and a half
maybe
today.
10. But the problem was, we rode out to the stadium, and it was fine going out there. And I knew this was going to happen because the weather was showing that the wind was going to start picking up at about 11, which is about when we started to turn around. So then we're riding into the headwind. Of course, we weren't going the right direction. So there were times that I was pedaling downhill because you're going against the wind. Like there was no coasting for the whole 9 miles back. So
And then her eyes were watering, her face hurt.
I had a little allergy attack at the beginning. Yes, I did. That got better.
It was great. Let's go ride
It was
75
great to
miles in
make
one day.
me complain.
And then,
and I was on my heavy mountain bike too, which I will not be riding that anymore.
Yeah, and I was gonna ride my road bike, but our little air compressor kind of ran out of air, so I had to ride my heavier bike too. We have really lighter bikes, like road bikes, racing bikes that we will be using. So when I was out on this gravel, I'm used to riding a road bike where I can stick my feet in these pedals that I can use my quads and hamstrings to
Oh, kind of
pedal.
lift up and push
Yes.
down. Yeah.
Well, I didn't have that on this bike. So I'm trying to bust my way up this gravel hill and my feet were slipping off the pedal. It was just, it was just, it was
It's
not,
almost like you should have practiced
I just
beforehand.
don't know if
Beforehand.
I just don't see myself going to practice out on a gravel road somewhere. Like, let me ride out to this gravel road.
So you
and then I'll
won't be
practice.
doing gravel worlds or whatever that
no.
race that Matt Dow does.
No.
You're
No,
not
he can do that.
interested in that.
Now, when we were bike riding the other day, though, we were down by
Mhm.
Memorial Stadium, and this kind of shows you
Where
how-
your
how
priorities are.
of a crazy fan that I
Yeah.
am. So we're heading down, and we see this Nebraska golf cart.
There was
right
no
here.
traffic. We totally could have gone.
We easily could have crossed the street, but I stopped on purpose to wait for the golf cart to come up right next to us, and it was Coach Amy Williams.
No way.
Yes.
So-
was on the golf cart, and I don't know who the group was, but the dad was sitting and we're sitting on the back, and Nicole had said something and about or the dad had said something to us like, "Oh, what a great day to ride a bike," and she's like, "Well, do you want to switch?" He was like, "No, that's all right."
And they just zoomed away.
They just zoomed off, and we're just pedaling, but yeah,
That's a great line.
I know, it was funny. Like, oh, we got to slow down. I got to see who this is. Maybe I'll know this person.
They did not want to trade.
It didn't dawn on me that it was Coach Williams till after the cart.
As they started to drive away.
Yeah. Like, I think I saw her at the end. There's a bunch of people on.
We got to give you ticket credentials here because it just seems like you pop up near these big figures all the time. Maybe you got a little badge. They'll be like, okay, I'll do an interview with this guy.
Yeah.
I don't think we could just say that, hey, we're the Fitness Fanatics.
They'll be like, who's that?
We listen to you guys every Sunday. Of course we'll do an interview.
I did have somebody texting me the other day about their son possibly joining Farrell's, and he said, "I try to listen to your show every Sunday."
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, well, that's
we
good.
have those moments sometimes. Yes.
That's always surprising. I think radio kind of does that.
It's surprising.
Well, no, I mean, like in terms of
surprising.
knowing you
We got
guys.
a listener.
No, it's not surprising. But I'm always like surprising when listening to radio because I always forget how many people are actually listening. Because it's unlike the streams. Like I can see a number on stream.
Yeah.
But radio, I'm always kind of until you like hindsight being 20 when you actually get the numbers like months later. But I'm always surprised.
Yep.
Well, I'm a big YouTube listener.
Mhm.
Like that's how I listen to Early Break. Is I teach at 6 a.m. and I get in the car. I just start it at the beginning. I don't even really listen on the radio. I just start the show at the beginning.
Oh, really? You just go straight to YouTube?
Yeah.
Well, because then you can
start
from the beginning.
Yeah, start from the beginning.
Huh.
Yep.
You just rewind live radio. I mean, it's just it's really cool. I'm just fascinated by it.
It is nice.
Yeah, it's really cool. I guess it's just like DirecTV or TiVo or DVR type of thing, but for radio. So it's really cool.
Mhm.
Speaking of Farrell's, we do have our summer 10-week challenge is going to be starting in 2 weeks. So June 8th is when our summer 10-week challenge is getting ready to start. Yesterday, we did our famous and the only Farrell's in the country to do this, the last chance workout, 3 hours of kickboxing.
Because we made it up. Like
Yes.
it's not that.
Yes, we invented it. Stole the title from The Biggest Loser, Last Chance Workout. 3 hours of kickboxing. We had at the Meadow Lane Gym, we had about 26 people that did all 3 hours. At Yankee Ridge, I think we had 9 or 10.
I didn't count.
That's 9 or 10, somewhere around there.
It's a busy weekend for last chance workout, especially out at Yankee Ridge because Southwest graduation was Friday night.
Yeah.
So I feel like that probably had an impact too. But
Yeah, lots of graduations.
it's still a great turnout. Like we had people in the class the whole time, just not everyone did the full 3 hours.
Yep. So that was cool.
Mhm.
And next week we'll be awarding $1,000 to our winner, Best Transformation. So that's coming next Saturday. We always have a big party out at Rosie's down on South 14th. So we're looking forward to that. So a lot of good things coming up. We have a bunch of teenagers and kids that'll be participating in the 10-week challenge.
Well, the good thing about this challenge, we kind of pushed up the dates of the first 2 challenges this year. So this challenge, the summer challenge, actually fits like right into like the calendar summer for the schools.
Yep.
So it starts June 8th and ends August
17th.
17th.
Mhm.
So great for teachers, great for kids that want to do it. A lot of our members have kids that are going to be doing it because it doesn't run into the school year, because that's always a tough transition from the summer to the start of school.
Yeah,
So-
we typically have been starting in the middle of July,
Mhm.
which I never really liked because 5 weeks later school starts and everybody's routines change. The parents' routines change, the kids' routine, everybody's routines change. And it's always historically been a session of people that just don't have great results.
Or just don't finish.
Or don't finish
Right.
because,
Yeah.
I mean, if you have kids, in the summer, it's obviously a lot different than when they go back to school. When you got to get up and just kind of your daily routine. So it just really affects. So we were just like, let's just kind of get these first 3 in. So we're doing one. I think week 10 is when school starts.
Yeah, it is.
But
we can still make accommodations for
Mhm.
anyone who needs to do other stuff early or whatever.
Yep.
But
Yep. So that's coming up here. Harrison, I mean, so we talked about Husker baseball.
10 o'clock.
And this is kind of sad, but this morning I woke up and I saw that they played at 10 a.m.
He almost ditched us.
And I was talking to Ben about like, wow, because he works today at Culver's at 4. And I thought the game started at 2. So I was like, oh, it's too bad you work, or we could have went. And so then I saw it started at 10. I was like, oh, we could go and get back in plenty of time for him to work at 4. So I'd asked Nicole, I said, hey, how much do you love your son?
Yeah, that's what he said.
Good start, good pitch.
Yep. Not me, just how much do you love your son?
Even though it was your idea to begin with.
Yep, my idea. So I said, well, the game starts at 10. We could go and then watch it and then be home in time. And tickets are like $16. I mean, so it's really inexpensive to go to that game. And so she's like, yeah, that's fine. I can do. Yeah. I've done half these shows myself the last month anyway. So then I go upstairs and I asked Ben, I'm like, hey, game starts at 10. Do you want to go? No. I was like, what?
He's had 2 really busy days though, too.
Yeah, his girlfriend graduated high school.
Yeah,
she went to Southwest, so he went to the graduation ceremony Friday. Rode over with the parents. Went to the graduation at PBA, and then he was out all day. I don't even know when he got home, but 10:30 or something like that.
And he's got to work at 4.
At 4.
That's hard to enjoy yourself when you got that logged in the back of your head. Yeah. Like, I got to go to work after this.
But what's really sad is, like, he said, we would probably lose anyway if I went. In fact,
he has the track record.
He said we'd probably get mercy ruled if I was there.
Did he have good luck when you guys went to Kansas City? Oh,
okay.
No, yes,
this
but
is
it's Husker
Athletics.
Just Husker Athletics. Yes. It was a bad luck charm.
Yes.
So we went. First baseball game we went to was the Iowa on Sunday. Nebraska,
which was irrelevant, right?
They lost.
Yeah, but we had already won the series, right?
Yeah, but they still lost.
I know.
They won the first 2 games, and the game we go to, they lose.
Yeah.
And why we're losing, I have people texting me, would you guys stay away from Husker athletic events? Right? We went to one basketball game, Creighton. We lost by 30.
Yeah.
So that's the only loss at PBA.
No, you went to another basketball game. You guys left early, and they did win.
Well, that was last year.
So maybe that's the
Ooh, because you guys left it early.
Yeah. They came back.
We did leave early at the baseball game. That didn't help.
Oh, okay. That's right.
So we went to a women's basketball game. They've lost. The men's game, they lost. We went to.
You've gone to volleyball. They won.
Well, that doesn't really count.
That's just a dominant team. That's just what happens.
Yeah.
And it was Iowa. It was Iowa.
There's no
volleyball.
There's no jinxes when it comes to volleyball. We're there, we're not. They're going to win anyway. Yeah, and it was against Iowa, who's never even won a set off Nebraska in the history of the program. So that was a given. But we went to the Minnesota football game last year in Minneapolis, lost. We went to Illinois in 2021 on the road, lost. Like,
you got to break the streak. So you should have gone. You should have just made him go because now we have football season coming up, and he needs to break that curse before.
He's literally never seen Nebraska win a game.
You need to break this before football
Every
starts.
game he's ever went to in person.
Yeah.
Lost.
Do not come to UTEP
He's
or Colorado.
going to the first game. He's going to UTEP, and if we lose that game, then he's definitely not going to Colorado. That's already like the house rule.
Yeah, the house rule is
right.
You go to UTEP to get the monkey off our back, off your back, and you'll see them win. I'm like, you're not going to Colorado unless you go to UTEP.
And we win.
If they drop UTEP, he's going to be scarred for life.
He won't want to probably.
His face will be up at Memorial Stadium. Like,
do not let in.
Do not let this kid in.
No entry.
And he's planning on going to UNL next year, or after he'll be a senior next year, but his plans are to go to UNL. So he has to break it at some point.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's yeah. So it's just kind of sad that he's just like, no, we'll probably lose anyway.
I think he was more tired. He
is really tired. I don't know what
he was out really late on Friday.
When was the last time we were there? 2019. I think 2019 was the last time Nebraska made Big Ten championship game.
I have no idea.
We've only been watching.
I know that they've never won.
Recently.
No, they've never won
the Big Ten.
2019. I don't think it was a good show. I don't even think it was close.
Well, this one's a good one because we're better, better ranked.
They are the better team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know, right? No doubt.
Well, yeah, and then I was bummed because it starts at 10 and no, we got some stuff to do, graduate. We have a graduation party to go to when we're done on the radio. So but I guess it is what it is, right?
Yep.
I really wanted to watch it.
And I'm just kind of annoyed that if you're the Big Ten, why are you scheduling this at 10 a.m.?
Well, the rain delays is why they kicked it back up. There's potential for rain and just having to postpone the whole game. So that's why. It's not because they would obviously want to keep it later in the afternoon, but it's for rain possibilities.
Well, if it was going to be scheduled for a night game and they moved it to 10 a.m., that takes away all of the possibility of Penn State fans coming, right? Like you're out, you're not coming. No flights to Omaha prior to 10 a.m. So
I'm good with that.
That kind of works.
I will say, shout out to the Husker Nation. It looked awesome yesterday.
It did, yeah.
It was red. I think the attendance was over 10K.
That's
and
cool.
it was pretty much all red. So, well, I guess Indiana too was a little bit different shades of red, but still,
yeah, it was all
awesome
Husker,
crowd.
all Husker fans.
I think it's fair to say like 80-20. It was pretty much all Husker red.
Yeah, it was good. So we're excited. I've watched more baseball this year than I have ever. College baseball anyway.
It's been fun. Shout out I think too is like when you get to know some of the guys, because we have guys like Cal Perry on here on the station, so you get to know them a little bit and now you just start really rooting for them, and they're a fun team to watch. Like the whole baseball team, the vibe this year, it's been fun. So shout out to those guys,
especially after
30 minutes
after the first outing of the Big Ten tournament where they just got mercy ruled. You're like
15-2. I think it was the final by Ohio State.
Yeah, I'm
then
like,
you get payback.
Yeah, I'm like, maybe I was thinking, well, they're going to be in the NCAA tournament. Maybe they're just kind of, let's just get to the tournament. But no, here they are.
Well, that's kind of what you're thinking the mindset was too, because they rest their pitcher, and then obviously we talked about it, you get absolutely destroyed. But then you go back and you're looking at this mountain they're going to have to climb. Not only are you going to have to beat Ohio State, then you're going to have to beat Indiana, then you're going to have to beat Indiana twice.
Yep,
there they are. So shout out, team's
and
ready.
They're playing the 8th seed, Penn State.
Yeah, Penn State got hot just but this is the beauty of college baseball. This is what happens every single time. Because in the College World Series, we'll see that too. Some team who just barely scraped in is going to get hot, and they're going to be making their way all the way through it.
Well, and it's same with the major leagues.
Yeah, baseball's a weird sport.
Like last year, the Rangers were fighting to, get in the wild card, and they just, I don't even know if they lost like 1 or 2 games the whole playoff. So that's just how it goes. But all right, well, we're going to throw it to break. We'll be back here, so stay with us on 93.7 The Ticket, the Fitness Fanatics.
On the block with Strick and Austin.
Hey, he looked as advertised. He looked really good in the spring game. And because of that, we're going back to a bowl game this year, is what Husker fans are telling them. So I think the fans have a more realistic perspective, and I think this coaching staff has done a really good job of handling Dylan Raiola and the expectations around him.
Weekdays from 2 to 4 on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Join us each Saturday from 11 a.m. to noon for Youth Football 101 with Tank Perry of the Nebraska Red Wolves of 7-on-7 football. The future of the sport depends on the foundation set at a young age. Hear those stories and more each Saturday from 11 a.m. to noon here on 93.7 The Ticket.
Have a passion for the outdoors? Nebraska Game and Parks is seeking seasonal teammates. Work in scenic state parks, contribute to vital research projects, and care for our natural spaces. Seasonal staff assist with special events, provide customer service to outdoor enthusiasts, and make a difference for conservation. Join the adventure at outdoornebraska.gov. Apply online today.
Paid for by Nebraska Game and Parks. Aired in cooperation with Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
1 in 3 adults has prediabetes. 1 in 3. That means it could be you, your football buddy, your football buddy, or you, your best man, your worst man, you, your dog walker, your cat jogger. While 1 in 3 adults has prediabetes, with early diagnosis, prediabetes can be reversed. Take the risk test at doihaveprediabetes.org. That's doihaveprediabetes.org.
Wait, did they just say 1 in 3 adults has prediabetes? That's 33.33333% of adults. That means it could be me, my boss, or my boss's boss, or me, my favorite sister, or my other sister. That's 7 members of my 21-person romantic book club. Wait, the 1 in 3 could be me, my karaoke partner Carol, or my karaoke enemy Jeff. I'm going to take the risk test at doihaveprediabetes.org.
Brought to you by the Ad Council and its Prediabetes Awareness Partners.
As an 18-year-old, I let my mistakes kind of take over my life. I was 0.5 credits away from completing high school, and I didn't do it.
10 years later, at age 28, Jackie finished her high school diploma.
When I found out that I was pregnant, I know that I had to do something for myself if I wanted to make her a better person and provide a better life for her. My family never stopped pushing for me to be better because they knew what I could become and who I could become as a person. My support team is amazing. The educational director, my sister, and even my 7-year-old daughter has just been more than the support that I could ask for. I've been given an opportunity, and I'm just thankful for it.
No one gets a diploma alone. If you're thinking of finishing your high school diploma, you have help. Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
Early break with Sip and Jake.
Harvey Perlman was there.
Hey, Harvey, sir.
Harvey sidled up to me and said, Sipple, a little out of context. So I was driving back. I called Pelini and I told him what Harvey said. He goes, Sipple, you should have told him anytime he's not near a sewer, he's out of context.
Whoa! Early break with Sip and Jake from 6 to 8 every weekday morning on 93.7 The Ticket.
Victor deployed for the first time to Afghanistan in 2003. At 4 in the morning, my phone rang. They said, I regret to inform you that your husband was wounded in action. Victor sustained a moderate traumatic brain injury. I was doing school full-time, and I was also then caring for Victor. One of the most important elements of caregiving is taking care of yourself. I just didn't want to forget that I also had goals and that I also had a life. What I did is I challenged Victor to meet me halfway. There are almost 6 million military and veteran caregivers across the nation. We have our own journey, and we can fulfill that journey at the same time that we are helping our loved one.
Visit aarp.org/caregiving for a free military veterans guide to navigate your caregiving journey and better care for your loved one and yourself. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
3 feet. I'm Trooper Ollie with the Nebraska State Patrol. Oftentimes, 3 feet is all we have when working on the side of the road. When you come across an emergency vehicle working roadside, Nebraska law requires drivers to move over or slow down if you can't move over. For all of us who perform our jobs on the road, help us out and move over. This message is presented by the Nebraska State Patrol and the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
Now back to Fitness Fanatics on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back into the Fitness Fanatics. It is Sunday, May 26th, Memorial Day weekend. So thanks for tuning in with us today. We have an awesome person, awesome guest joining us for the next 90 minutes. One of our FIT members, Farrell's members out at the Meadow Lane location. Her name is Misty Cummings. How are you?
I'm well, very, very well. Thank you.
You found it okay, obviously.
I did. I took a few trips around the block, but I found a parking spot that wasn't the 30 minutes that I hopefully won't get towed. So.
Oh, no, you won't. It's free on Sundays anyway, so you're good.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well, yeah,
you
I'm
were good then.
I'm good.
Yeah.
I know you were a little nervous about.
I was.
I said it's not during the
I'm
week.
nervous to come down here when I'm by myself too. I always leave like way early just in case. You never know. You never know when roads are going to be closed and stuff like that. So
Well, with
it
all
makes
the
me nervous.
one ways, you have to go down 2 blocks if you want to turn around.
Or you just go down the wrong way. On
Jeff
the
did
one
that.
way.
Yeah, Jeff did that a couple
did
weeks
that.
ago. Mhm.
I turned the wrong way on a one-way and then just did an immediate U-turn.
Yeah, he did that the other.
So
just
if I
a
was
couple weeks
taking
ago.
my driver's test, I would have failed.
Immediate,
Instantly fail.
immediate fail.
Because that's what our son did once and he failed.
One of the 4 times he failed.
Yeah. All right. So Misty, welcome into the Fitness Fanatics. This first segment, we just like for our audience, listeners, and for Nicole and I, we always love having our members in because we get to know you a little more. We don't really sit around and chat like, oh, where'd you grow up? Like before class. So it's good for us. So we get to know our members a little bit more. So that's where we want to start our show with you is we want to know where you grew up and if you were active in any sports while growing up, whether it's in elementary, middle school, high school.
Okay. So I grew up in Gillette, Wyoming on a small ranch. and I come from a large blended family. So there was his, hers, and theirs. My biological father died before I was 2. So my mom remarried and they had 2 children. So younger brothers. I have 2 younger brothers, 2 older sisters. I was the middle. No, excuse me. I was youngest of the sisters. And then, I'm the middle child. And then in elementary school, I kind of just followed what the school, because there's so many of us. It was the school program. So I played basketball, and believe it or not, my brothers were in wrestling. So I got to wrestle for a year.
But you were like a trailblazer
No,
then.
yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
way back then.
Way back in the 80s. I don't know that there was another girl.
Yeah,
on the
girls wrestling is like
team.
really popular now, but yeah,
Mhm.
especially in Wyoming.
Mm,
Wow.
Right.
Yeah.
So I wrestled, I played basketball, I played volleyball, I played soccer. When I got into junior high, it was mainly basketball and volleyball. And then in high school, I kind of ventured out. I got my own driver's license, so I got to do some things I was interested in. I did gymnastics and I took a dance class. And then in college, I didn't play any sports, but I am kind of proud of my 14 credits of PE.
Nice. Yeah.
Raise that
Yeah.
GPA. I'll just go.
Right.
I'll take a PE course.
Now, knowing you for the last, because you started in January of last year, so about a
Mhm.
year and a half, I had no idea that you did all these sports, including gymnastics, which to me, gymnastics is fascinating because
Mhm.
like, I feel like I can go out and shoot a basketball or, there's
It's a lot more intuitive than other sports.
Yes,
Yeah.
so what I'm fascinated about the gymnastics. Like, what did you do in the gymnastics? Like, what cool events?
So I had no previous training and I was in high school, so I did very little.
Okay.
It
sounds like my high school
Yes.
career.
It was just a lot of fun and the very, very basics, to be honest with you. It was just fun. Something
You like the
I tried-
balance beam?
Not the least was the balance beam. I like the uneven bars was my favorite.
Ooh, wow, that would be
That
the
is
scariest.
terrifying to me.
Yeah. I know. Just flinging yourself around in the air.
We need to get some gymnastics. The
Yeah.
UNL gymnastics.
Yeah.
Like, I remember seeing one video of Chief Borders was flinging around the
Oh yeah, those are fun.
bar, and he
Mhm.
had all those padded blocks that he fell into. I would love to get
You think
on
you
that.
could fling yourself around a
I
bar?
don't know, but I would love to try it. So,
I would love to watch it.
like, we did the curling with the UNL curling team, but
Yeah.
we need to get into the gymnastics. That's because, like, when we
I can
had
do
our,
a cartwheel. I can still do a cartwheel. I do it down to box all the time.
Yeah,
I know.
and I can do a cartwheel also.
Not well.
I can do one.
Not well.
And I'm really good at doing handstands in the pool.
In the pool, right?
Wow. Like,
In the
remember when we were
deep
younger,
end.
and you get your and you do your handstand in the pool and you kick those feet up, man. Mine are straight, toes pointed. Like, I would be getting a 10. But anyway,
It's the deep end.
so the uneven bars.
Wow.
That's crazy.
I did love monkey bars when I was a kid. Like, I could do those really well.
Okay.
I know, but I'm just saying I probably could
Moving from
have
bar
done
to
that.
bar is a little different.
Yeah, but
than
sometimes
flinging.
Jeanette and I would sit on the bar and we would flip ourselves
I could
forward,
do that too.
forward,
Oh, absolutely.
or just backwards, because forward is much more scary.
I'd lean over.
Backward is
and you
anybody can do that.
Legs would go.
Yeah, but we did it forward too. And or you put one leg around the bar and then you just spin and spin and spin and spin and spin.
maybe
So
we
see,
should
I
go-
used to be able to do
Maybe
it.
we should try it and find a park and try to recreate this. Like,
I'm
I
very
would
confident
get
I
up-
could do the one leg over spin. I could do that. I can do that.
Mm,
That's the only one I would bet
I
bet
think,
on.
I think we're gonna have to check this out. I probably would be a little scared.
I'm sweating thinking about it, but I think I could do it.
Flinging my legs over. Yeah, you can. Yeah.
Anyway.
Okay. Anyway, so
So-
any cool stories like from gymnastics?
Or any of your sports.
Yeah, any
like,
cool
did
stories.
did your teams do well? Like, did you ever go to? I don't know how.
So I played varsity and junior varsity, and to be honest with you, I hated playing varsity because it was such intense pressure,
Mhm.
and I just wanted to go out and have fun and
Mhm.
just have fun. So I loved playing the junior varsity when I played, but Wyoming,
Just kind of everybody did it. It was
Right.
kind of, yeah.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Kind of small town Nebraska too. I think that's most people's experience when you come from a small town. You just do it because that's what you do. That's why I played soccer.
Everybody, the no cut teams,
Mhm. Yep.
like in Waukee.
Mhm.
See, Misty, I didn't know if you knew this, but we had no cut. We had so many people go out for basketball that I played at halftime.
So not even JV, like the next one
Oh.
lower.
Yeah.
Which is, you are good at basketball. I don't give you credit for very many sports, but bowling, ping pong, and basketball, you are actually really good at those sports.
Yeah, but
I think it was your work ethic. Maybe you just weren't.
no, in a small town, it like if you're not, some of it is not really politics, but it's like
Nepotism, the name.
Yes, the name.
Yeah, that's
You start point guard as a 6th grader, and you're starting point guard as a sophomore.
And your parents
Or a
like
junior.
coached you growing
Or a
up.
senior.
All your,
That's
you know,
true.
yeah, that's
Mhm.
true.
And I fell into that's applicable to
Yeah.
my experiences.
You were that family. You were kind of in it by family.
Well, we were the ranchers.
Yeah.
So,
Mhm.
I did a lot of rodeo and therefore wasn't probably the star
Okay.
in the basketball or volleyball lineup.
Mhm.
Because I was
So you did rodeo too?
Yeah.
That's fascinating as well.
Yeah. If you're from Wyoming, you probably
She's just like,
rodeo.
I don't know anything about sports, even though I've played literally
Yeah,
every
she's-
sport out there.
I don't know anything, but no, this is great. This is great. So I'm intrigued about the rodeo
Ooh,
also.
yeah.
Like, I don't think I could
Did you do barrel racing?
I did.
Mhm.
I did it all.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Really? What else is there? I don't even
tie
know.
up the calf.
Well, goats. Women
Oh.
tie a goat.
Yeah,
We
that's why I
do
don't
the
know what like
calves.
the women do.
Okay.
But yeah, the barrels and roping and the poles before you get when you're young, you do poles.
Is that
goat
like
tying.
agility type stuff or what's that?
Yeah, kind of like you weave in and out.
Yeah. Okay. Mm-hmm.
For time.
Mm-hmm.
And
You've done way more stuff than I've ever done. Like, that's amazing.
My grandpa
That's
used to
amazing.
love watching rodeos, and I used to watch it too until I got older because then I'm traumatized that I'm going to see some traumatic like accident happen. So that's why I also don't like to watch boxing or like MMA fighting because or hockey because I'm afraid I'm accidentally going to see someone die, and those are like traumatic. So that like rodeo, I know someone who died in rodeo doing rodeo.
Who?
I went to school with him. Well, he was in rodeo, but he didn't die when he was in the rodeo, but he was very popular rodeo, whatever
If he
they're
didn't
called.
die doing the rodeo. then
Doesn't
that's
matter.
not
I'm
really
traumatized by it.
That's not a traumatic experience.
Well, I forgot as I was talking. I remembered he died
I
in
knew
a car
somebody
accident.
who died in a rodeo. Well, he did rodeo.
As I'm talking about it, I remember it was a car accident.
Who's that? Do I know who
No,
that is?
this was in high school.
Oh, okay.
my
I
first
did have a life before you.
my first belt buckle was in calf riding.
Oh, that's so cute.
So what's a belt buckle then? What
Well,
does
that's
that
like
mean?
what you
First
get.
place.
Yeah, like instead of a trophy or
Okay.
ribbons. Well, you have ribbons, right? Or no, just belt buckles.
Ribbons would be more for like showing.
Oh,
at the
okay, yeah, that
fair
makes
and,
sense.
Yeah,
Yes.
the belt buckle.
How old were you when you got that belt buckle?
Oh gosh, I don't even know. 9, 10,
That's so
probably.
cute.
You know, it's sometimes if I'm kind
Uh-huh.
of, I don't know if I'm getting philosophical or not, but sometimes it's weird, like how you, like when I see like people that do hunting and stuff, like my dad never did that. Like he was the sports person. So like, that's what I grew up loving.
Yeah.
But then like, you go to
Or car people.
Yeah. Like
Yeah.
I don't know the first thing about a car.
Yeah.
But then it's just weird how like you're raised, like if I had been raised in Wyoming, like if
Oh, yeah.
my parents would have said, we don't want you.
Or we're packing up and we're
you're
going
gonna-
to Wyoming.
You're gonna go live with Misty's family.
Mhm.
Like, would I have grown up being like some
Probably.
cowboy
In
Like, I can't
Wyoming,
even
probably.
picture that,
I'm having a tough time
right?
picturing it.
I mean, just like that's weird though, isn't it?
Mhm.
How you're just shaped by the word.
Yeah, we talk about that a lot.
It's just weird to think about, like how different like my life would have been had I been born into a family that hunts. Like I've shot a gun one time in my life, and I was
Terrified.
Terrified to even hold the thing. Like, I remember
I feel like you've shot a gun more than
I remember
once.
we were in Texas visiting Nicole's family, and her cousin's like, "Here, hold this. I
He's
gotta
a
go
police officer.
hold this. I gotta go into the gas station." He gives me this gun. I'm like,
it's so heavy.
Am I gonna shoot myself right now? With this?
I
Like,
had to shoot myself.
just like scared. Or he said you might need this. I'm like,
Which he was just messing with you 100%. Like,
oh my gosh.
I
don't
can
know what I'm supposed
guarantee you
to
that gun was not loaded and he was just doing it.
do.
To
Oh,
That was the
mess with
first
you.
time you actually held a gun?
Yeah.
Like a fire. What kind of
Probably.
gun was it?
It was a
handgun?
pistol. Yeah.
Like a Glock? Okay.
Yeah.
That
Here.
would feel a little strange.
here, you might need this. I was probably like 20 at the time. Like, but it's just because I never grew up around.
He was
that.
messing with you.
You know, I'm a city slicker.
We know.
Well, I also have my
Slicker.
concealed weapons permit.
Okay.
Oh, see? So she shoots guns.
So I better take it easy
oh my
then
gosh.
when I'm in class.
It's just a Wyoming
No.
thing. Really, it's a Wyoming thing.
Yeah. Interesting. Very
That is
cool.
interesting.
Yeah. That's a lot of stuff.
That is. You've been, yeah.
How did you have time to be a rancher? I'm assuming you had to help out.
Yes.
Yeah. At
Yes.
home too.
Yes.
So, wow. That's a lot of stuff.
Summers and that, yeah. So summers were building fence and branding and moving cattle.
Was it a pretty big operation? Was it
No,
like
we had
non-
a small ranch.
Okay.
A small
Okay.
ranch, which sometimes was worse because
You had to do everything.
Yeah.
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 Especially when there's multiple kids. So, what did you say? 5 kids?
Mhm.
Yeah.
There were 7
Okay.
with my step siblings, which they were
Okay.
with us sometimes, not always. But so my oldest sister was kind of the head, like with my mom. She would help my mom in the kitchen
Mhm.
and kind of in charge of everybody. And then my middle sister had Down syndrome. And so she wasn't on the ranch. And then there was me. So I can drive
Right.
the tractors, I can do all the ranching stuff, but don't ask me to cook anything because I can't do that. And then my younger brothers, as they were getting older, then of course they helped out. But
Interesting.
Well,
That's
awesome.
very cool.
Well, we're gonna
Yeah.
take a break.
Yeah. Awesome.
And then when we back, we'll keep this conversation going. I'm fascinated already. It's only been 10 minutes. All right, we'll be back on Fitness Fanatics 93.7 The Ticket.
Why are some people more successful? Is it talent and determination, or did they recognize an opportunity? Discover a career that lets you help families reach their financial goals as you build lasting professional relationships. One with unlimited income potential. From Modern Woodman, a leading fraternal financial services provider.
I'm Modern Woodman Regional Director Sean Erickson. Call me at 402-483-6515 to learn about career opportunities.
Modern Woodman of America. Touching lives, securing futures.
I think it's just vapor. Vaping is safer than smoking, isn't it?
There's really not even that much nicotine in them, right?
One vape pod has as much nicotine as 1 pack of cigarettes.
My kid?
My kid
knows it's dangerous. 5.4 million American kids vape, and most think it's harmless. Get your head out of the cloud. Talk to your kid about vaping. Visit talkaboutvaping.org. That's talkaboutvaping.org. Brought to you by the American Lung Association and the Ad Council.
Guardians report current alcohol use. Drinking alcohol can cause harm to children and loved ones. By drinking less, your child will be excited to see you at their basketball game. If you or a loved one is looking for help, find a treatment facility near you at findtreatment.gov. For immediate support, call, text, or chat 988.
Brought to you by Nebraska DHHS in partnership with SAMHSA.
For over 15 years, Integrated Life Choices has empowered individuals with disabilities in Lincoln and throughout Nebraska. They provide comprehensive services from group homes and independent living services to job training, ensuring fulfilling lives for those that they serve. Now, they're inviting you to join their mission. If you're passionate about making a difference in the lives of people with developmental disabilities, explore rewarding career opportunities with them. Learn more about their services and apply today at www.ilc.net. Be a part of Integrated Life Choices, where your work truly changes lives.
I'm Karen Carr. I've been a realtor for 31 years. When I made a company change 12 years ago, I chose Lincoln First Realty, now NP Dodge. It's the oldest independently owned realty company in the country. Since becoming NP Dodge, we've continued our tradition of community involvement. Our management and staff are always available to offer support in marketing, technology, social media, and educational opportunities.
Expand your career with NP Dodge. Call Eric at 402-434-2222.
Hey everyone, Shaylee Bade here, local sprint car driver and mom. Join me, James, and Bree this Sunday at 7 p.m. at the finish line on 93.7 The Ticket or theticketfm.com. Please feel free to join us before the show at 6:30, where we will be hanging out, signing some autographs, and selling some merch. Can't wait to see you.
Victor deployed for the first time to Afghanistan in 2003. At 4 a.m, my phone rang. They said, I regret to inform you that your husband was wounded in action. Victor sustained a moderate traumatic brain injury. I was doing school full time, and I was also then caring for Victor. One of the most important elements of caregiving is taking care of yourself. I just didn't want to forget that I also had goals and that I also had a life. What I did is I challenged Victor to meet me halfway. There are almost 6 million military and veteran caregivers across the nation. We have our own journey, and we can fulfill that journey at the same time that we are helping our loved one.
Visit aarp.org/caregiving for a free military veterans guide to navigate your caregiving journey and better care for your loved one and yourself. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
What a day. I could sure use an afternoon pick-me-up. Hold up. The new 93.7 The Ticket location has a milk, coffee, and tea inside? Oh yeah, this is a game changer.
Need an afternoon pick-me-up? How about a coffee or smoothie on your way to work? Stop by the Ticket Mill location on 1040 O Street to get your go-to drink or try out our new game day drinks exclusive to the Ticket Mill location. We know it'll make your day a million times better.
Spring often marks the beginning of severe weather, which can lead to power outages. LES wants you to be prepared before the storm. Restock your emergency kit, update your info with LES, and if you encounter an outage, report it at les.com/report.
When you're high, you feel different. You think different, you talk different, you draw different, you listen to music different, but you probably knew that. Problem is, you also drive different, and not in a good way. That's why driving high is illegal everywhere. So if you're high, just don't drive. Make a plan to get a sober ride. Because if you feel different, you drive different. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
My early Alzheimer's diagnosis was hard to take.
But it gave my mom and me more time to plan together.
Talk to your family about seeing a doctor. Go to alz.org/time to talk. A message from the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
Now back to Fitness Fanatics on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back into the Fitness Fanatics. Got a short segment here before we get into some really powerful story here coming up at the top of the hour. So Misty grew up in Gillette, Wyoming. Is that where the Gillette razors were named after, I wonder?
I doubt it.
We're the Razor City.
Oh.
I
So
was
maybe.
shaking my head. I might
Right.
be wrong.
No,
That's
Harrison's
the nickname
gonna
of
look
Gillette
it up.
is the
The razor
Well, that
city.
has to be where they're made then.
Harrison will look it up. But
Wow,
anyway.
it's just all kinds of connections here. All right. So what
Anyway.
brought you from a small ranch in Gillette, Wyoming to the big city life, of Lincoln, Nebraska?
So we're going to talk about this a little bit.
Just talk about
later.
it. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Go ahead.
So I was in a car accident and I came down here because I had to go to the Madonna Center for rehab.
Okay. So why did you decide to stay in Lincoln instead of moving back with your family?
Because the reason I left Wyoming is because there wasn't any medical care there and I had to get
Okay.
out. So because of the accident, I had a very, very positive experience here in Nebraska in the Madonna Center. So I decided I wanted to stay near the medical care that I had received, and I've just sort of expanded from there.
So, like, you knew you didn't want to go back. Right. Back there. So you're like, well, why don't I stay here? Which I looked it up too. They're not related. Gillette and Gillette, the company, is based out of Boston, Massachusetts.
Oh. Maybe Gillette, the city, is just like, we're just going to nickname our city Razor City. And then people will think that it's associated with
Got a lot of
Razor.
stuff about being the energy capital of the nation.
That's true.
So I'm still trying to figure out where the razor comes from.
Oh, do you know, Misty? That's your hometown. Like, why are you the Razor City?
I don't know about the Razor City, but I know that about the energy capital.
Oh,
okay. Why is it the energy capital?
Butte coal mine is what it has here.
Oh, okay.
Some nice coal mine. Probably a bunch of other things on top of it. I don't know. I'm sure there's windmills. I don't know about green energy, but it's probably windy up there.
Stuff.
Just the coal mines.
Mhm.
Okay.
Oh, that's cool.
Interesting. Okay. So you stayed in Lincoln. What did you do? What have you done since you've been here in Lincoln? We'll talk about your background a little bit more too, but like, you decided to stay. So then like, what did you do when you started?
So when I first got here, I wasn't working. And then my first job in Lincoln was at the airport. Actually, I worked for the ground crew during COVID. So I was in Chicago training.
Such a cool job.
Right?
I was in Chicago
airport.
training for my job when the COVID headlines came across that were shutting all the airports.
Oh no.
And I'm in Chicago in the airport. I'm like, oh,
maybe I'll live in Chicago now.
maybe I'll get home, maybe I won't. So I worked at the airport, and then when all the COVID restrictions lifted, my job was cut. Then I went and worked for a medical office while I was working to get my nursing license back.
Okay.
That's cool.
Yeah. Interesting.
So you never really got a direct planes then? You were just training?
I did.
Oh, okay.
No, I did. So I came back. I worked at the airport all during COVID, and we got to wear the masks on the ramp. So
Okay.
I'm loading. You know how you guys know how much I love the hot weather and the humidity. I got to wear the mask outside. Load the plane with my mask on, and I got to direct the plane
So you're like the luggage. You just
and the director.
did you
Then
did you get to drive the cart that had the luggage?
And then I got to be in the control room where you enter the information in for the planes
Oh
coming
my
in
gosh.
and out. And
that seems stressful.
Yeah, so it'd be a really stressful job. It'd be an air traffic controller, right?
It's pretty funny. You hear some funny conversations between those.
Oh, I bet.
Supposedly.
Right. I bet.
so it was fun. I really, really enjoyed that job.
That would be a really fun job, like just keeping active, like, because I think that's what I would have to do. I don't think I could go back to like an office job. So
Mm-mm.
that would be something that would be kind of fun. It keeps you active. It keeps you moving. You get to like do. It's just not something that a lot of people do. I've never known anyone that was in ground crew
and
for an airline.
If you're going to work
airport.
at the airport, you would much rather be the grounds crew than being the people that are like
tickets.
Yeah, dealing with the people.
That's absolutely true.
Did you ever have to
Just
do
a
that at
nightmare.
all? Yeah. That's
Get
good.
me outside. I don't
No.
care if it's 100 below zero. I don't want to be in there. Just
And yeah, during
deal
COVID,
with people.
there were some interesting encounters.
I
Oh,
bet.
geez.
Ticket
Oh,
counter.
man, no.
Especially during COVID. I bet you people are stressed out of their mind
Yes,
throughout that
yes.
time, freaking out.
That would be stressful.
Mhm.
I'm surprised they didn't try to throw you there just because you're so nice and friendly. Surprised they weren't like, Misty, go out there and calm this person down. 'Cause you're so nice. I can't imagine you getting, anyone being mean to you.
Well, she seems nice on the surface, but
She's tough.
you bust out that
I know.
rodeo. She,
My family's probably listening, and they're like, "You don't know her. She's not herself down there."
this is the gal we know.
That's awesome.
All right.
Yeah,
well, let's
that's
throw
cool.
it to break, and we'll be back here at the top of the hour. We'll talk more about Misty's car accident and how that impacted her and led her to Lincoln. So we'll be right back. Stay with us. 93.7 The Ticket, the Fitness Fanatics.
For over 15 years, Integrated Life Choices has empowered individuals with disabilities in Lincoln and throughout Nebraska. They provide comprehensive services from group homes and independent living services to job training, ensuring fulfilling lives for those that they serve. Now, they're inviting you to join their mission. If you are passionate about making a difference in the lives of people with developmental disabilities, explore rewarding career opportunities with them. Learn more about their services and apply today at www.ilc.net. Be a part of Integrated Life Choices, where your work truly changes lives.
Dance like a dad. It's a great way to make a moment with your kids. First, I hold my hands out like they're on a steering wheel. Then I look over my shoulder. Next, I put it in reverse. Visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Open. These awards are the state's most prestigious awards for volunteerism, and we need your help to find outstanding volunteers from your region of the state. If you know a volunteer who deserves to be honored for their service, visit serve.nebraska.gov and click Nominate Now. Made possible by sponsors like Omaha Public Power District. Nominations must be submitted by June 1st. Paid for by Serve Nebraska, aired by the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Ashiro's work is never done. You care for the house, the kids, and our future. We're so grateful for all you do. Now it's time to care for yourself and save a little more for retirement. A free 3-minute online chat can give you the personalized tips you need to boost your retirement savings now. Visit aceyourretirement.org/Shiro today.
A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Do you need motivation to get to the gym on the weekend or even in general? Tune into the Movement Hour each Saturday from 10 to 11 a.m. Movement Academy owner Robert Kuhlman will host the show as he introduces new ways to stay in shape. The Movement Hour every Saturday morning from 10 to 11 a.m. on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
As an 18-year-old, I let my mistakes kind of take over my life. I was 0.5 credits away from completing high school, and I didn't do it.
10 years later, at age 28, Jackie finished her high school diploma.
When I found out that I was pregnant, I know that I had to do something for myself if I wanted to make her a better person and provide a better life for her. My family never stopped pushing for me to be better because they knew what I could become and who I could become as a person. My support team is amazing. The educational director, my sister, and even my 7-year-old daughter has just been more than the support that I could ask for. I've been given an opportunity, and I'm just thankful for it.
No one gets a diploma alone. If you're thinking of finishing your high school diploma, you have help. Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
Start your Sundays off right with Jeff and Nicole Essink on Fitness Fanatics. Jeff and Nicole discuss health and wellness, how to achieve fitness goals, and more through the life of gym owners and gym goers. It's Fitness Fanatics from 9 to 11 a.m. on Sundays on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
On the Block with Strick and Austin.
It's, hey, he looked as advertised. He looked really good in the spring game. And because of that, we're going back to a bowl game this year, is what Husker fans are telling them. So I think the fans have a more realistic perspective, and I think this coaching staff has done a really good job of handling Dylan Raiola and the expectations around him.
Weekdays from 2 to 4 on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Finally, a good reason to have a smart house. Just say, Alexa, play 93.7 The Ticket, and we'll magically start playing. How's it work? Nobody knows. Don't ask questions.
Play ball! Summertime is here, and so is another action-packed baseball season with the Lincoln Salt Dogs. Bring your whole crew to Haymarket Park to experience the magic under the lights and the thrill of the game. Enjoy daily specials like Wiener Wednesday, Thirsty Thursday, Fireworks Friday, and Family Fun Day Sunday, plus special events and discounts. Don't miss out on the excitement. Strike three, you're out! Visit saltdogs.com to see this week's promotions and secure your tickets to unleash the fun.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet. KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. Welcome into Fitness Fanatics on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Now here are your hosts, Jeff and Nicole Essink.
All right, welcome back in. It is hour number 2 of the Fitness Fanatics. If you missed any part of the show, you can check us out on the ticketfm.com's website, any of your podcasting platforms that you prefer to listen to. Had a good first hour. Hour number 2, we have a new sponsor for the show. Hour number 2 of the Fitness Fanatics is brought to you by Modern Woodmen of America. Modern Women of America can help you plan for life, from protection to saving to retirement. The member-owned Fraternal Financial Services organization also offers member benefits and local volunteer opportunities. You can call Sean Erickson at 402-483-6515 to learn more. So big shout out to Sean and Modern Woodman. They actually helped Nicole and I get new life insurance plans here that we just got started over the last couple of weeks. We had life insurance out of Iowa, which the people that I had signed up with no longer work at these businesses. So I was just kind of like, well, maybe I should do something local.
Yeah.
So if I die all of a sudden,
I know who I can talk
to. You can
to.
just text Sean and be like, hey, how do I get access to this life insurance policy? Like immediately. So he did a great job helping us get that set up. Very professional. Something that we do like about Modern Woman is they are giving back to the community. In fact, they are also sponsoring part of our Down to Box program, which we do kickboxing for kids and adults with Down syndrome. And so they're going to be chipping in, making a really good donation to the DSAF over there to help offset some of the costs for the kids and the adults to participate in the summer challenge. So we appreciate that so much from them. Down to Box, Misty, you've been a part of that. I mean, you just said you have one of your siblings or your sister has Down syndrome. So I know you've been to Down to Box and have enjoyed helping out the kids and the adults do that. So
very much.
Really cool part of Ferals and what we do. So our next Down to Box session is starting June 15th. So we got about a month. So big shout out to Sean, sponsor hour number 2 here, Modern Woodmen of America. So give him a call if you're looking to any of those needs. Sean is an awesome guy, and he's an instructor at Ferals as well.
And a former guest of Fitness Fanatics.
Yes, a former guest, one of 2 guests that the show did not get recorded. So there really is no record of Sean's appearance on our show.
And it wasn't Harrison's fault. It was Rico's fault. He was in the studio.
So we're gonna try to get.
Why am I finding this out on this Sunday? All right,
we're gonna try to get Sean in again, and then maybe we could record it so people can just listen to his podcast. So it's just funny.
We'll get the old one. How about that? Yeah. We'll get the old one and we'll get the new one.
We'll dig it back
on. Yeah, we'll get that fixed.
It's like a year ago.
We're like, where's the podcast? And Rico's just like, oh, I forgot to
record.
Well, we recorded it on a Saturday, I think. So
so it's okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
We'll do some digging.
It just disappeared out of thin air. We had him and then one other person, I think, like because we did it on a Saturday as well.
Yeah.
Like it didn't save or
something
on there.
Yep. Anyway,
it can happen.
You know, like Nick,
I'll give Rico the benefit of
like
that.
Nick recording my commercial, like he didn't save it, so I had to come back in and do it again. yeah. So something like that.
It happens.
Yeah, it happens. So thanks for joining us here. All right, Misty, we'll get back to you. It's some more serious subjects here. Talk about fitness and wellness. All right. So you'd mentioned right at the bottom of the last hour. So you're in a car accident. So let's hear about that.
Yeah. Okay. So it was early 2014, and I would say that I wasn't really in a good space at that time.
So how old were you at that time, if you don't mind?
Gosh,
20.
If you don't mind answering. I mean,
it must have been, well, this is my 10 year, so it must have been 31. Or excuse me, 41.
Okay.
40.
Just for context.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's 41. And I just was kind of floundering. I didn't really have a good aim at what I was doing. So I was a nurse. I had quit my nursing job and was going to go back and get an esthetician license and then add that to my nursing license and do something in that field. And I was on my way to a restaurant to meet a date. I didn't know this guy at all, like not at all. It was kind of not a first date. I had played softball, which we won't get into that. How that happened or how that turned out. But I'd played on the softball team. He was another one of the players. I was meeting him for dinner downtown. So I'm sitting at a stoplight. My light's red. Wait for it to turn green. The restaurant's right across the street on the corner. So I'm looking for a place to park. My light turns green. And then that's the last thing I remember. And I was broadsided by a pickup. I had a car. The pickup was a brand new pickup, and it was he totaled his pickup. So you can imagine what it did to my car. It was destroyed. I was knocked out. And then I, of course, went to the emergency room in the local town. And then I was life flighted to Casper, Wyoming for further care. My parents were in Colorado hunting with my youngest brother. So my dad was up on the mountain. They would have released me the next morning had somebody been there to drive me home, but there was nobody there. They called my brother in Wyoming, got word of it, and they called my parents and then my sister who lives here in Lincoln. And so she was actually there before anybody else was. So she showed up, my parents showed up from Colorado, and then I stayed in the hospital in Casper for a couple days. They released me home. I had a C6 fracture, so my neck fractured. I had a laceration across my forehead that had 37 staples in it. That's what I was released with. There's a lot more that went on when I got back home and found out. But so they sent me home with those two things, those diagnoses, and said, follow up in your local ER in 7 to 10 days, get your staples out and come back in 2 months and get your cervical collar. They didn't operate. They just put me in a collar for 2 months. Come back and get your collar off. That's it. So go home. And I could not read. I had double vision. I was dizzy all the time. I couldn't walk. I had a walker. It was horrible. And I knew that something was wrong. I couldn't process any information really. So I'm trying to convey through my mother, hey, there's something really bad wrong here. Something's not right.
If you had been a nurse at that
I had been
so
a nurse.
you have like a background in medicine too.
Yes,
So
yes,
yeah,
mhm.
that should give you some credibility.
Yeah.
You know, not when your brain's not functioning properly and you can't communicate.
Which
Right.
was kind of the worst of both worlds because
Yeah.
I had the information and I knew something was wrong, but my brain wasn't working to say, hey, this is what's wrong.
Yeah. Mhm.
And so it was kind of just, my mom trying to intervene, and my poor mom, she put up with so much because she didn't understand. And I was short fused and irritated. She wanted me to go out to the ranch and live out at the ranch with her so she could be with me all the time. I didn't want to do that. So this was the thing, is my emotions were intact and I could talk, but what I was saying really wasn't coming from a higher level of reasoning or thinking. So all of my decisions at that time were poor.
That's crazy.
To say the least, they were poor decisions. And looking back on it, like, oh my gosh, why do we let people in those kind of circumstances make decisions for themselves?
And
But
this
we
was
do.
like out of character for you too. Like, right? Like your family would say that you were kind of a different person then, or no? Were you always not a great decision?
No.
Poor decision maker, maybe, and nobody knew there was a difference? No, just kidding.
Well, I've always been
kidding.
very independent. Like when I graduated high school, gone, like out and traveled the world and did all these things. So I was very independent. And
Yeah.
so I think that played a part in,
That makes sense. Yes.
like, I got this.
Yeah.
Leave me alone. I don't want to do that.
So your
But
family was used to you already like doing your own thing.
yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Which makes it a little more difficult
Mhm.
too. Yeah.
So to be vulnerable and go back to live at your mom's house and have her take care of you just wasn't feeling it. We had prior to the accident, there'd been some tension with my family. I guess I wasn't really super close with them, so that played into a part. Like I say, the emotions were intact, but the reality of the situation and the thinking was not.
Mhm.
So it's interesting because when I signed up to go to this aesthetic program, I had a condo and I leased out the condo and stayed. I moved all my stuff from the condo into my mom's rental house, which thankfully this all happened because it's right across the alley from her house, her in-town house. So I had moved there, I think in August, and you guys know I don't like August. And so I just moved everything in the house and it was from floor to ceiling boxes. But I was sleeping in a motorhome because it was too hot in there. And so I just went to school all day. I worked as a bartender for some cash and then slept in this motorhome until it cooled down. And then I was going to unpack my house. Well, I got into this accident. And then my house where I had to come home to was floor to ceiling with boxes. My bed wasn't even set up. So my family rushed in there, set up a bed, but then I had a maze to my bed. And really, I mean, I couldn't unpack those boxes. I couldn't do any of that kind of stuff. So
Right.
I lived in those conditions for quite some time. And then I just had to, it was kind of a mystery, like go to South Dakota for an eye doctor, go to Casper for this therapy, go to, I'm trying to find all of these therapies, all of this medical care that just did not exist. So,
And you weren't driving. Were you able to
no,
drive? Yeah.
mm-mm,
You
no,
weren't able to drive.
at the very beginning, I
Yeah.
could not drive. No, no, it was
Yeah.
bad.
hmm
So, and I had that neck collar on for 2 months. I was in that brace.
Was it like a permanent one? Like you couldn't take it off?
I could take it off to put
Okay.
the shower one on.
Oh, okay.
So
I just thought it was weird because they were like, they wanted you to come back to take it off, but I'm sure it was to evaluate.
Right,
Yeah.
to
It
do
was
the-
okay. But then I was like,
yeah.
do they make those so
Mhm.
you literally can't take them off?
yeah,
Ever?
it was the most miserable thing ever.
Mhm.
So in 2 months, I go back. This was maybe my worst medical experience in my life because I had not spoken to another medical professional that could answer questions for 2 months. And I go back and I have written down my list of questions. And I asked when I went, I said, like, how long is my appointment? Because I have some questions. And he's like, oh, yeah, an hour and a half. I was like, oh, thank goodness. So I go in there and I start asking my questions. And he looked at me and he said, I am here to get that off your neck. And that's it. And I was like,
Wow.
oh, like
Yeah.
as a medical professional,
Right.
that right there taught me,
Wow.
I'm a much better nurse after this. But so
what was he going to be doing for an hour and a half then?
that it included going to get the x-ray to
Okay.
see if the fracture.
Yeah.
Yeah. And,
Okay.
and so in my mind, when he said an hour and a half, I said, oh, okay.
Yeah.
But no, it was this is the time where we talk about things. You're going to go get an
I'm
x-ray.
telling you things during this time. I'm not interested in answering your questions.
Yeah,
Basically.
right.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Mhm.
And he said, here's an article.
Wow.
Read this article I wrote. But I'm like, okay. And so I said, I'm like, I have no follow-up care. He's like, well, who do you want to see? And I said, I think a neurologist.
Mhm.
He's like, well, who do you want to see? I'm like, the best one there is, the best one, that's the one I want. So I get up, he hooks me up with a neurologist in Casper. So it's over 2 hours of driving just to one appointment.
Yeah.
So anywhere in Wyoming is rural. All places are rural. So you're going to drive. I went to South Dakota for care. I went to, Casper, different places. So eventually I ended up saying, you know what, this is not working. Mom, I want to go to Denver. Take me to Denver. I think I can access some higher care in Denver and I need a reevaluation. So go to Denver. And yes, they say yes. It appears that they've missed a few things initially.
Oh, yeah.
You can see some iron deposits. So yes, you did have a bleed on the brain and therefore you have these deficits. And this is what we recommend for therapy. Well, all of these therapies that I could not access in Wyoming.
Mm-hmm.
So again, I was stuck in this area that
couldn't
I just couldn't
accommodate
access
your
it.
needs.
Yeah, I could accommodate. I couldn't access what I needed to. So I did what I could. I went to physical therapy. My physical therapist and I actually went to Washington, D.C. to advocate for. I was advocating for telemedicine to reach out because people in a rural community, I think they need access to bigger places for specialty care. So I was advocating for that. So then when COVID came around, I was like, told you so.
Right.
I told you so.
This could have already been in place.
Right.
Yeah.
So I ended up, I saw the doctor in Denver. He said, yes, you have some problems here. So then I had to go back to Wyoming and I had to make a decision on what, this is what all of these Wyoming doctors are telling me. This is what the doctor in Denver told me. Like, now I'm really confused. So I go to Mayo Clinic to get, okay, this is my final answer. I'm going to go to Mayo. I go to Mayo. I take myself. At this point, I can drive. I drove. Not sure I was supposed to, but I drove.
Probably not that far.
Yeah. You can only drive about 20 miles. Well, I'm going to go 1,500.
Yeah. I did. So I drove myself to Mayo Clinic and I rented a room from Airbnb. I've never done that before in my life. I rented a room And I can remember going into this house. I'm like, trying to figure out the lock. I go in there and there's this guy sitting on the couch. I'm like, oh my gosh. I told my mom I wouldn't be staying in anywhere crazy. And I did not tell her I rented a room. But he ended up being a resident at the Mayo Clinic.
Oh, nice.
And so I'm like, oh, thank goodness. So he owned the place. He was a medical student, or he's now a heart surgeon. But so it turned out to be a very rewarding experience. But yeah, so what I learned at Mayo Clinic was, yes, you have definitely some problems. Denver was correct. And your options are you can stay here for outpatient therapy, or you need to find a facility that can treat you with these. You need to access these therapies. And I said, okay, well, I think my sister lives in Lincoln, so I'm going to check out there. So crazy enough, my sister and I would talk with each other like every week, once a week. So she calls, she's like, well, the house right next door is coming. I'm really sad. The house right next door to me is coming up for sale. And she had lived next door to this elderly woman who is a widow for many, many, many years. And she was having to go into the nursing home. I said, well, how much do you want for that house? And she's like, why do you want to know? Because I'd never thought about moving to Nebraska. I said, well, I got to get out of here. Like, I need to access care. So she went over. This is like 8:00 at night. Looks at the house, looks to see how much they want, calls me back. I put in an offer over the phone. It was a cash only offer. I only had so much cash. And the lady accepted my offer knowing that I was my sister's sister.
Oh, wow.
So, and they had lived next door. So I'm sure she had much better offers, but thankfully she accepted my offer. So I moved like that week. I moved down here I'd not seen the house. It was in rough condition. Like I say, it was a elderly widow woman. So I stayed in the living room of this house. I moved my bed down, a dresser, and some toiletries. That's all I had for a year. And then I went to Madonna and they did an evaluation. They said, normally we don't take anybody that's beyond 6 months past their accident because most of your healing happens in that 6 months. And I thought, oh, I'm screwed. It's been 2 years. But they said, since you have never accessed all these cares, we'll evaluate you. And I qualified for every single,
which shows how
therapy.
bad, you had not progressed during that time.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah. So I was in speech therapy and physical therapy and occupational therapy and vision therapy. And then eventually we think you might need some counseling too. You seem to be a little bit angry.
Yeah. Jeez, I wonder why. So what were some of your diagnosis then? Like what was what kind of had they decided?
I have a traumatic brain injury and which
can be a lot of things probably.
Yeah. So no two traumatic brain injuries are the same ever, but I have left-sided coordination. It's not weakness. It's just coordinated. So when you see me in the gym and my left side is a little wonky.
I don't think anyone would know that about you. Like I did not notice that about you.
I've never noticed anything either.
I noticed it.
Right.
I noticed it a lot.
Yeah.
Because sometimes I even miss the bag.
Well, I do too sometimes. If it's a powerful hook punch, I might whiff the bag a couple times too. So I don't think you're punching hard enough if you don't almost punch yourself in the face with like a hook or an uppercut occasionally.
I agree with that.
Right. Yeah. I say that all the time.
So it's left-sided coordination. Migraines were the biggest problem that sets back, that limits me. And then I explained to people that I have a gas tank, and people with brain injuries have a gas tank, and they empty their gas tank with every single thing you do, whether that be mental or physical, it drains your gas tank. And most people without a brain injury have a reserve tank that they can tap into. We have no reserves. Like when your gas tank is empty, it's empty. That's it. You go to bed. There's no coming back for that. And to refill your gas tank, you have to sleep. And then sometimes, when you go to the gas station, you get one of those pumps that it's like that. So it might take 3 days to refill my gas tank. And then I have to be very, very, very strict on a schedule with my sleep, my activities. Like I have to plan for everything. That's what I
Okay,
was
so
doing.
now I won't give you a hard time. Like,
I can't. Yeah, so I have to plan far
Right.
ahead, which my family are the worst planners on the planet. Mom, if you're listening, worst. And I just can't be spontaneous. I have to. It's a calculated. Everything is calculated, but thankfully, I'm so thankful that I made it a point to calculate that I have to exercise because the exercise is going to be key in my longevity of living with this condition because I take less energy now on all of the physical aspects of my life because I'm in better condition. And it made a tremendous difference. What I didn't expect was that I said that migraines were one of my limiting factors resulting from this car accident with the TBI. And I've tried every migraine medication out there. And it's a guessing game. It's a guessing of like, try this combination. I went to the specialist in Omaha for migraines and he wanted to switch all this stuff up and give me these medications. I'm like, you know what? I don't want a medication. I don't want to change medications. What can I do that's not a medication that will help me? And nobody ever said go to kickboxing. Nobody ever said that. So when on my 50th birthday, I decided this is it. I am in a very I'm not happy with myself. I don't feel good. I'm not happy with myself. So I cut out sugar. This was in December before my January 10 weeks. So I cut out sugar because I was terribly addicted to sugar. So I cut out sugar completely of my diet. And then I started looking at gyms close by my house and the new location in Meadow Lane. I found that. So then I sent in, I think it was an online inquiry that I signed up. And then Jeff called me and I was telling him like, I don't know if I can do this.
well, let's leave it there.
Yeah.
We're gonna take a break.
Okay.
And then we'll come back and talk about your time at Farrell's and how that's helped change your mental and everything else. So we'll be right back. 92.7 The Ticket, the Fitness Fanatics.
Looking for a financial partner that truly makes a difference? Modern Woodman is a member-owned fraternal financial services organization. We can help you plan for all stages of life, from protection to savings to retirement. We also offer member benefits, social activities, and volunteer opportunities to help your family and community.
I'm Sean Erickson, your Modern Woodman representative in Lincoln. Call me at 402-483-6515 to start the conversation.
Modern Woodman of America, touching lives, securing futures.
Vershawn Jackson, the captain here for The Body Shop. And man, did they hook me up with a great massage recently? The captain has a lot of stress in his life, as many people do. And for 1 hour, it was all relieved. The team at The Body Shop gave me a deep tissue massage that hit every area that I was in pain at. Whether you're looking for a Swedish massage, sports massage, deep tissue, hot stone, aroma, or more, there's only one place to go. The Body Shop at 48th NA. Book an appointment today at thebodyshoplincoln.com.
Hi, this is Pastor Tom. Did you know there's a place kids can seek out help when they're away from home and something goes wrong? They find themselves in a difficult spot or even a dangerous situation. Maybe another child is bullying them or a stranger is following them. Perhaps on a date and things just go bad. In Lincoln, here's where they can find help. It's called Safe Place. Safe Place is a national program for children taking place in thousands of cities across the United States. The People Seeding Mission is sponsoring this program in our community and has set up a number of businesses, fire stations, schools, and nonprofits around the city to become safe locations where kids can seek out help. They just need to look for the big yellow sign that says Safe Place on it. Then go inside and ask for help. We will be quickly connected to them and ensure they make it back home or to whatever resources are needed. If you'd like to find out more about Safe Place and ways in which you can get involved, just go to pcmlincoln.org. Remember, when we all do a little, we change a lot.
1 in 3 adults has prediabetes. 1 in 3. That means it could be you, your football buddy, your football buddy, or you, your best man, your worst man, you, your dog walker, your cat jogger. While 1 in 3 adults has prediabetes, with early diagnosis, prediabetes can be reversed. Take the risk test at doihaveprediabetes.org. That's doihaveprediabetes.org.
Wait, did they just say 1 in 3 adults has prediabetes? That's 33.33333% of adults. That means it could be me, my boss, or my boss's boss, or me, my favorite sister, or my other sister. That's 7 members of my 21-person romantic book club. Wait, the 1 in 3 could be me, my karaoke partner Carol, or my karaoke enemy Jeff. I'm going to take the risk test at doihaveprediabetes.org.
Brought to you by the Ad Council and its pre-diabetes awareness partners.
Join us each Saturday from 11 a.m. to noon for Youth Football 101 with Tank Perry of the Nebraska Red Wolves of 7-on-7 football. The future of the sport depends on the foundation set at a young age. Hear those stories and more each Saturday from 11 a.m. to noon here on 93.7 The Ticket.
On the Block with Strick and Austin.
It's, hey, he looked as advertised. He looked really good in the spring game. And because of that, we're going back to a bowl game this year, is what Husker fans are telling them. So I think the fans have a more realistic perspective, and I think this coaching staff has done a really good job of handling Dylan Raiola and the expectations around him.
Weekdays from 2 to 4 on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
When it comes to making plans, you are the best. What about those round trips, which are perfect on your way there and perfect on your way back? Or those meetings with friends, surprise parties, camps, birthdays. The same way you plan for the important moments, start planning to protect you and your loved ones from a natural disaster. Sign up for local weather and emergency alerts. Prepare an emergency kit and make a family communications plan. Get started at ready.gov/plan.
Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
This is your captain. We are going to be experiencing some slight turbulence. Please fasten your... Oh, hold on. Just got a video of my cat.
Imagine the pilot of an airplane was as confident as you are texting and driving. Seems kind of crazy when you put it like that.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
Early break with Sip and Jake.
Harvey Perlman was there.
Hey, Harvey, sir.
Harvey sidled up to me and said, Sipple, a little out of context. So I was driving back. I called Pelini and I told him what Harvey said. He goes, Sipple, you should have told him anytime he's not near a sewer, he's out of context.
Whoa! Early break with Sip and Jake from 6 to 8 every weekday morning on 93.7 The Ticket.
If you came across someone struggling with hunger, how would you recognize them? By their clothes, their age, the way they speak? Would you notice a 16-year-old boy who got his first job,
not for extra spending money, but to help feed his little sisters?
or a mother who's in between jobs and sometimes goes to bed hungry so her kids can have dinner? Or a 14-year-old girl who signs up to every after-school activity, not to make friends, but just to get something to eat? Or a retiree who fell ill and had to choose
between getting medicine or groceries.
I am the 1 in 8 Americans who struggle with hunger. People you pass by every day but never knew were hungry. I am hunger in America.
Hunger can be hard to recognize. Learn why at IamHungerInAmerica.org. Brought to you by Feeding America, 200 Food Banks Strong, and the Ad Council.
Now back to Fitness Fanatics on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, welcome back in to the Fitness Fanatics. We're going to keep this awesome conversation going with Misty.
And if anyone has any questions too.
Yeah, if you have any questions, you can reach us on the Starter Heyman text line at 402-464-5685. Also, you can message us on any one of the platforms we're on: YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, and Facebook, and Allo Channel 961. Although I don't think you can message us through the TV. So if you want to send us a message.
But no longer Twitch.
Oh, no longer
Okay.
Twitch.
No one was really watching on it.
I know Twitch is a young person.
I think it's more for
like,
the gaming world.
Yeah, it is.
Not sports
That's kinda what I
radio.
mean.
Like on
Yeah.
Mont Green's show.
Exactly.
Like,
You do good on Twitch.
Yeah.
When
I think- I agree.
in my height of my Tecmo Super Bowl playing career,
you'd have been,
which I've
number
retired.
one.
I've retired by now. I've retired from
After
this.
0-3, right?
Yes.
Yep, retired.
We've watched you on
all
Twitch.
the games were streamed on Twitch.
I watched Ben and I watched him during one of his tournaments on Twitch.
What were the numbers like on that?
I
Are there a
don't
lot
remember.
of people? Okay.
No. No.
Hundreds of
This is a
thousands.
30 This is a 30-year-old video game.
Yeah.
There's
No.
maybe like 10 people watching. So yeah, no, it's not hundreds of thousands, even though
No.
there should be.
There's a young crowd that's getting into it
Yeah.
again these days.
Yeah.
It surprises me.
All
Mhm.
right. So
Anyway.
we left off. You were doing some research, and I pulled this out of the memory bank that you were working with somebody that had just got done or was in the middle of doing her 10-week challenge, which ironically, our guest on Mother's Day is Mandy. So it would have been her mother-in-law
Mhm.
that was doing ferals, and her sister-in-law were doing ferals at when we were at the Pioneers Gym. So anyway, you called, had no clue what was going to happen, and you get me on the phone.
So I'm trying to explain. I don't know if I can do this, meaning like I have this injury and I can't crawl. So I'm not sure if I can kickbox.
Mhm.
Not like, hey, this might be too much for me. I don't know if I can physically do this. And I can remember like, oh yeah, you can just go at your own pace. I'm like,
Mhm.
but my pace, maybe no pace. So you did a fabulous job of coaching me. And like, okay. But because at my life at this point, every single thing is a very calculated risk. Like I have to invest 100% if I'm going to pay to do something. Like I'm not going to miss a day. I'm going to get my money's worth. I'm going to do this. So I was like, can I get my money back if I can't do this? Like I was legitly worried. And you talked me through that. And you said, no, just come in. We're going to do that. You can do this. You can do this. So I'm so glad I did. And I can remember the orientation and tears. I'm like, okay, somebody else knows the struggle. I heard that they've struggled. I can do this. So I thought I can do this. And I got through my 10 weeks.
Yeah, I mean, we've had people with physical limitations before, and I don't have a memory of you being that person.
Yeah, I don't either.
Right.
Like I don't remember saying, Misty, you need to do this and change how you
we
do
didn't
this.
have to make accommodations. I don't remember having to like help you
Oh, my abs.
modify.
There was some ab stuff.
Well, yeah. I mean, the normal stuff, but that's normal.
That's
like
everyone that's starting.
right.
Yeah.
Someone who hasn't actually exercised for a long time, they're going to struggle to do a sit up. That's normal. That does not make you special. But
Well, and your orientation
That's
at
totally
Meadow Lane,
normal.
we had over 100 new people that
Yeah.
started.
Yeah,
So
that
it
was a
was
big
like
group.
packed.
Mhm.
And then you heard a pretty good speaker by the name of Aaron Davis came in
Yes.
and talked to you guys.
Yes.
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 Yep.
And
Very
it
cool.
did. It brought me to tears. And I thought, oh my gosh.
Maybe I can do this.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yep.
Mhm.
And you've kind of been a staple ever since in that back corner. Was that where you stood when you started? Where you stand now?
We were on that side,
Okay,
but
yeah.
not on that bag. And
Okay.
I have found, I'm not going to give out my secret, but that is the best bag in the gym, in the entire gym.
Yeah.
That's the best one. So
Because we do, I mean, people tend to have their favorite spots, but when the 10 weeks starts, usually the new group has like they kind of take over a spot. So like I couldn't remember if that's
my
where you were.
spot was with the pole.
Okay,
with
sure.
The behind back
Yeah,
to the
so you
bus.
just moved over.
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay. So
Yeah.
you're right there where you
Mhm.
were. That's what I thought, but I couldn't remember. Sometimes.
So how has the last 18 months kind of changed?
Oh my
As
goodness.
like you were talking about.
Well, and
with the-
talk
with-
about your 10 weeks. Sorry, Jeff, but
go ahead.
what results did you see in that 10 weeks? Because I also, when you sent those pictures for like the promo that we used, and I know you've had significant weight loss in the program, but I don't remember you looking like that. I really don't. So like
when I was looking at the pictures, I too was like, oh my gosh.
yeah, so I
Oh my
don't remember
gosh.
that. So what kind of how is that? Let's talk about that first really quick. So like, do you know how much you've like kind of lost within the last, like your
So-
10 weeks or since you started?
So since I started, I just weighed yesterday. And since I started, 45 pounds.
Okay. Yeah. And you're a little person. So 45
Mhm.
pounds is a lot. Yeah.
Which
that's
I'm
awesome.
like, surely 45 pounds. And then when I'm in the gym and I lift up the 20-pound
Yeah.
dumbbells, I'm like, oh
Carry
my
those around.
gosh.
Carry two 20
Oh my
pound dumbbells.
gosh.
Yeah.
What was I? And that visual of that 5 pounds
Mhm,
in
mhm.
the gym it's huge.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's awesome. Because I don't remember you being 45 pounds heavier. So
Mhm.
you've done a really good job of just like being consistent and consistently kind of changing your body over the last 18 months. But yeah, so sorry, Jeff. Go ahead, continue.
Oh, no.
Okay.
Because we were talking about, before you started talking about looking up for a gym, you were talking about your migraines, and like nobody could figure out what to do. You were trying all these different sets of like whatever to try to figure medicine to get it figured out. And you said, nobody told me to do kickboxing. So over the last 18 months, like how has the kickboxing, strength training, and nutrition is obviously a key piece of this also. How's that affected like those migraines and your quality of life since you started?
Well, that is very interesting. And I'll say my PCP is also a member, so it's been kind of interesting and fun. I think her 10 weeks was the same as mine.
Oh, yes,
Yeah,
Alicia.
Alicia.
Mhm. Yep.
That's
Shout
cool.
out to Alicia.
Mhm.
So her 10 weeks was the same as mine. And it's very nice to go back. And so she knows what I'm doing because she's doing the same thing. But I mean, she's been there, and she knew that migraines was my biggest struggle. And for myself with the brain injury, all of this was just a horrible set. It was a horrible idea. You can't stand loud music. You can't stand loud. You can't stand lights. There's so much stimulation. Like, what am I even thinking? I'm going to try to do this. And I never had a problem. It never bothered me once. Usually when I would have a migraine kicking in, when it gets to like a 2, I'm like, okay, I can see where this is going. I'm going to go home, take a migraine pill. I'm going to have to lay down, go to sleep, and my day is over. It's over. And now when I feel like a tiny little bit, I'm like, I got to get to the gym. I got to get to the gym. I got to go to the gym. Like, when can I get to the gym? And it just, for some reason, it works. I've had to take maybe 3 migraine pills in the last year.
Wow.
Where normally I was going through my entire prescription for sure every month.
Yeah. And I mean,
That's awesome.
we jokingly say kickboxing, but obviously, I mean, exercise
Yes,
is the
exercise
key,
in
right?
general.
Yeah. You just found it to be kickboxing. And it's actually, I think for you, kickboxing is probably so good because you're getting the circulation, the blood flow. You're working on your coordination and
the core.
Right.
Core.
Yes. Yeah. You're
For
doing
my
the core work. You're like
balance.
putting together combinations on the bag. I mean, that's hard for all of us sometimes. So, I mean, I think that's like a lot of built in kind of things you've probably worked on in physical therapy. You're doing it as part of the workouts,
It's
right?
Tons of things. It's the repetitive motions are going to improve on building those neural pathways. You repeat the motions. Yes, the memory, the how many, what do you call it on the bag? You
Yeah,
call those
just
sets or
combinations.
Combinations.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yep.
Combinations. The more like I got to remember that.
Yeah, because we'll
So-
do like a set on the bag of kickboxing and it'll be like maybe 2 minutes and you're doing maybe like a jab cross, back fist,
Yeah.
roundhouse,
so I have
roundhouse.
to remember that.
And for 2 minutes, you're just doing that over and over and over again, which is such a good brain
Right.
workout.
So it's working all of the things for me. It's a good social outlet. It's my corner and my people and
So what were the things that you struggled with the most? I already know what the answer is going to be, but like, what have you struggled with
in
the
the
most?
gym.
Yeah, just as part of like starting over with ferals and everything that was involved. What has been your kind of biggest struggles?
It was forcing myself to make the time. Like you're going to do this, and this is the most important thing, whether you want to do it or not. You're going to do it, and it's going to bring the best outcomes of your day. And then in the gym, my biggest struggles in the gym. Or are you thinking my abs?
No, that's not what I was thinking. I was thinking nutrition.
Oh, yes.
Because that's what you ask me questions
Yes.
about all the time.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So my abs, it's no joke.
Right.
My abs are terrible.
But I think that you're being too hard on yourself about that because that is very normal.
In the beginning,
Yeah.
it was.
Yes.
And
Have you seen
personally-
improvements?
Oh,
though?
yes.
Right.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
Because
for
I
sure.
know you have done extras. You'll get there and you do abs, depending on who's there, because then maybe you're chatting a little bit
Right.
too before class, which is fine. That's the part of the whole thing.
Mhm.
But I know there was a time where you were like really consistent on getting an extra ab work and stuff
Mhm.
like that. Yeah. No, I was talking about nutrition because you
Yes,
always have.
nutrition. So during my recovery from the accident, I would research. I learned that I don't necessarily want to believe everything that the medical providers are telling me. I
Right.
need to do my own research. So I would research everything I possibly could on brain health and what is good for my brain, what should I be eating. And so I would try to incorporate all these things and really rely on diet and not a pill to help me do all these things. So when I started with Farrell's, yes, I was like, oh my goodness. Yes, Nicole, I have a question. Every week I would have a question. Like, what do
Misty
you
knows very well about how I'm the nerd that you come to when you need help for your homework, and Jeff is the cheerleader you come to when you're having a bad day and you just need someone to pump you up. She knows.
Yeah.
Because every Thursday when I'm back, she'll be like, okay, I have some questions. But then she'll be like, can't remember.
Yes, I should have written them down.
No,
'cause-
it's fine.
Maybe I should start
So-
writing them down.
Yeah, you should.
Keep a notepad and say,
Yeah.
questions for Nicole. Misty has this.
Oh my gosh.
That's
That's actually pretty funny.
this person has this question.
You should.
And so when you come in, it's like just right there.
Then I don't have to hear for
Yeah.
all day long.
You just
Jeff
get
told me
off-
to ask you.
Yep.
Jeff told me it's not just you. It's not just you, Misty.
I don't want to give people the wrong information.
I know.
I answer the questions if I know what the answer is.
Yeah,
I
but
ask
it is important to do your own research about that, because even if you're working with doctors and you've had such a wide range of experiences now in the last 10 years working with doctors, but like they can't know everything.
Well, and
that's okay. Like, yeah.
The thing with the medical community is we're not versed on nutrition. We're
Right.
not. We just aren't.
Yeah.
And that's
Which is shocking to me.
It is. It's very shocking.
Because we're made up of what we eat. Like that's how we become who we are.
And
So
our
that is crazy.
society has just been dependent, and you trust your doctor, and the doctors are just going to give you a pill because that's their business. So here's
Mhm.
the pill to fix this. Here's the pill to fix the side effects that pill's causing.
Right. Yeah.
And then it's just,
But it's not to say you can't improve on that by finding the nutrition support that works best for you. And
Right.
I'm assuming that like your nutrition support is very different than somebody else, because
Right.
like you said, it's the gas tank too,
Right.
you know, and you said you're not a big cook. So you have to find ways that you're not depleting yourself by cooking, because that was already something you weren't good at before the brain injury. So it's like you're not going to become this gourmet chef, because that's just going to empty your tank immediately. So you really do have to find what works for you. And the best way to do that is to ask lots of questions and do research. And sometimes you'll be like, I read about this. What do you think about this? And I'm like, that's a scam. I wouldn't worry about that, you know. But then some things, you know, yeah, if that works, give it a try. You have to experiment on yourself a little
And
bit.
that's what I was going to say is things are going to be different for every single person. And I think I found what's working best for me, and
you're still seeing results, and you're seeing progress, and that's really what matters. Like if you had started this, you know, in January of last year, and you had like this hard set of goals for yourself, you would have been limiting so much, knowing that it's a journey and it's a process. So like we say trust the process. So if you had been like, okay, if I do this 10 weeks and I don't lose this amount of weight and I don't see this progress, then you would be missing out on everything else that you've kind of gained during that time. So it's a good perspective to have too. But should we take a break?
Yeah, let's go ahead and take our last break, and we'll come back and we'll finish up with Misty. Stay right with us. 93.7 The Ticket, the Fitness Fanatics.
If you're in Seward or Milford, listen up. Select Plumbing is now servicing your area with no trip charges from Lincoln. Select Plumbing works on a variety of issues for your home and business, including general plumbing, water heaters, faucet and fixture repair, underground sewer and water repairs, backflow testing, and more. Keep your property free from leaks and other issues. Call today for a free estimate, 402-560-6197. It's not just Lincoln, Waverly, and the surrounding area anymore. It's also Seward and Milford with no trip charges. Contact Select Plumbing to inquire at 402-560-6197.
Hi, this is Pastor Tom. Did you know there's a place kids can seek out help when they're away from home and something goes wrong? They find themselves in a difficult spot or even a dangerous situation. Maybe another child is bullying them or a stranger is following them. Perhaps on a date and things just go bad. In Lincoln, here's where they can find help. It's called Safe Place. Safe Place is a national program for children taking place in thousands of cities across the United States. The People City Mission is sponsoring this program in our community, and has set up a number of businesses, fire stations, schools, and nonprofits around the city to become safe locations where kids can seek out help. They just need to look for the big yellow sign that says Safe Place on it. Then go inside and ask for help. We will be quickly connected to them and ensure they make it back home or to whatever resources are needed. If you'd like to find out more about Safe Place and ways in which you can get involved, just go to pcmlincoln.org. Remember, when we all do a little, we change a lot.
There's no better way to spark a child's imagination than to get lost in the adventure of a good book. I'm Jenny Benson, president of NSEA. Working together, parents and teachers can help every child succeed. You can help by reading to your child and let your child read to you. Encourage reading in your home and make it a priority. Make reading fun and a time that you and your child look forward to spending together.
Sponsored by the Nebraska State Education Association, aired by the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
For over 15 years, Integrated Life Choices has empowered individuals with disabilities in Lincoln and throughout Nebraska. They provide comprehensive services from group homes and independent living services to job training, ensuring fulfilling lives for those that they serve. Now, they're inviting you to join their mission. If you are passionate about making a difference in the lives of people with developmental disabilities, explore rewarding career opportunities with them. Learn more about their services and apply today at www.ilc.net. Be a part of Integrated Life Choices, where your work truly changes lives.
On the block with Strick and Austin.
It's, hey, he looked as advertised. He looked really good in the spring game. And because of that, we're going back to a bowl game this year, is what Husker fans are telling them. So I think the fans have a more realistic perspective, and I think this coaching staff has done a really good job of handling Dylan Raiola and the expectations around him.
Weekdays from 2 to 4 on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
93.7 The Ticket is proud to provide listeners with daily opportunities to win contests and prizes on our airwaves, and would like to take this opportunity to remind you of a couple rules. All participants must be 21 or older and must wait 30 days after winning a prize before participating in another contest. Once you win, you have 30 days to pick up your prize at the K&TK Studios, 1040 O Street in Lincoln, or your prize will be forfeited. Thank you for participating in our contest, and thank you for listening to 93.7 The Ticket.
The Drive with AD, Raf, and Amon Green.
And what I enjoyed about being a Jordan athlete, not only beyond getting the shoes, was the fact he handpicked his athletes at that time. I remember meeting him for the first time. He said, "I picked you myself. I watched you the way you ran the ball." He's like, "If I play football, I would play like that." I was just like, I'm sitting there like, I was like, appreciate you, bro.
AG, to have the GOAT to say those words to you, man, those are the things, like you mentioned, man, you never forget.
Weekdays from 8 to 10 on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
If you can plan barbecues and weddings, you can plan to protect yourself from a natural disaster. Sign up for local alerts, prepare an emergency kit, and make a family communications plan. Get started at ready.gov/plan.
Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
Now back to Fitness Fanatics on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back in. Final segment here on the Fitness Fanatics. We've been joined here for the last little over an hour by Misty, one of our members out at the Meadow Lane location. If you're interested in joining us for the next 10-week challenge, we are starting on June 8th. So it's just 2 weeks away until we start. Perfect thing to do over the summer. If you have kids, your kids can do it with you. Gosh, it's so cool to see. We have a family that comes at 5 p.m. that their kids just started. They did it last summer. And here all four of them come in, mom, dad, son, daughter, all working out together. It's really cool to see. Just teaching the kids nutrition at a young age. They'll take that forever. So if it's something you're interested in, you can go to fxblincoln.com, or you can shoot me a message directly. My number is the gym number. It is 402-310-4026. That'll go to me directly if you have any questions. We'd love to help you, help change your life. If you're struggling, just not sure what to do, health, fitness, we're there to help. So we have members of all different ages, fitness abilities, spots in their health I mean, just anybody,
Mhm.
really for anybody. So,
Yep.
Misty, with that being said, if people are out there, maybe because they've heard us for years, and maybe I should do it, maybe I just don't know. What kind of advice do you have for those listening that may be on the fence about joining Ferals to do the next 10-week challenge with us?
I would say definitely give it a try. And if you just show up, and that's sometimes what I have to tell myself if I've been out of town for a few days, and it's very easy to fall into that rut of like, oh, I don't want to go tonight, but just go there. Sometimes I've even thought to myself, if I just go and sit on the chairs in the back, at least I've made that commitment
Yeah.
to be there, and I've
Mhm.
cut that time out of my day, but I've never sat. I've actually done it. So just do it and start. You have to start. Just start. And I love the idea, and I love to see the kids in the gym. And I know that sometimes it's intimidating for the kids as well, but I love to see families in there and starting it out at a young age, because it goes back to what you were taught when you were kids. And
Mhm.
it's never too late to start. You always got to start somewhere. Just show up, and we're a lot of fun. 5 p.m. is a lot of fun.
Yeah. And you've made a lot of friends. You've done a great job. We were talking about it off air too. You've done a great job of making connections with people, which is a big part of any group fitness, really, because there's a lot of exercise that you can do solo running. And like, I like to run by myself sometimes because that's my time in my head. But, you came in not knowing anybody. You knew people who had done ferals, but they weren't starting with you. And you've made some really good friendships during
Yes,
the last
yes.
year and a half. And that's because you trusted the process. You embraced the process. You got to know the people around you. And so now you have it's really fun to watch you interact with everybody at the gym. We just had someone try out class the other day, and you were like super friendly. You said you like to be the welcoming committee. Yeah, I could see that because you were definitely that earlier in the week too. But yeah, so did you expect that part of it, like making those connections with people?
No,
Like,
I
yeah.
didn't expect it. And I was very intimidated, and especially coming in with, I don't know how ridiculous I'm going to look out there. And I don't know how, the other people around me are going to accept this. But it's when you go to an environment and there's one common goal there, or one common interest amongst everybody, then you can get to know, like, what else, like, tell me your story. And everybody has a story. And I have loved learning that. I love to get to know the people around me. And I told Jeff just recently, like, I don't know the people on the other side of the gym, and I need to know everybody. So how do I get to know the
You
people
might have to
on
go
the
work out
other
over
That's
there.
why I
side of
said,
the-
Yeah.
move.
I
Move
don't know
over
if
to the
I
other
can.
side.
I have the perfect spot in the gym, but yes, I'm trying to make it an effort, because I love the new members, and I really think that it's important to me. It's important for me to make people feel welcome, and everybody has a struggle. So
Yes.
and
Well, and I
you
think for
guys-
you, this was really a good program for you to do, because when we tell people this, the great thing about the 10-week challenge is if you're unsure, you're starting with a group of people that also don't know
Yeah.
what they're doing.
Yeah.
So while you knew in your mind you had these limitations, you're standing next to people that also have never done this before. So
Right.
that you probably felt a little safety in that,
Right.
where that you're like, okay, I'm not getting this. But then you look over, did Becky start at the same time
Yeah,
as you?
she started
Yeah.
the same
So then you
session.
look over at Becky and you're like, okay, she doesn't know what she's doing either. So we're just blending in together to
and
not know.
to be assigned the coaches. And my coaches, I adore my coaches still to this day. They're one of my 2 favorite people in the gym. So
Especially when you're scaring Elliot as much as possible.
yes. It's
Yeah.
And was
You've done a great
Tammy
job.
one of your coaches, Ellie and
yeah,
Tammy?
Tammy and Elliot.
Mhm. Yep.
All right. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
cool the friendships people make. Crystal and Kelly, who hosted the show last week, they did not know each other before Ferals, and now they're on vacation right now. They're like
Yeah.
best friends. They're families. I mean, so it's just really cool, the relationships that you make. And we try to tell people when they start, like, you're going to get out of this program what you put into the program.
Mhm.
If you like the people are really what make up Ferals. Going through it with other people that can hold you accountable.
But if you come in and you never talk to anybody and you don't interact with people,
Mhm.
you're not going to have the same experience. So that is stepping out of a comfort zone for sure for people sometimes. But the benefit you're going to get back is just going to be so much so much greater than that little bit of uncomfort to be like, what was your name again? You know, kind of introducing yourself to people and like getting to know them a little bit more each day. That's kind of the fun part about
And
it.
everybody's looking for that. Like they want that. So sometimes I think it's hard to just be that person to step out and give that, but everybody wants it. So
it's true. Yep. That is true.
Well, and it's not
Yep.
people you work with, or it's just like when our kids, when they do it, it's nobody they go to school with.
Yeah.
So they can just kind of be themselves and not feel like, oh, I got my classmates in here. I got to
Yeah, new little sphere
what
of
to do.
people.
But
Yeah.
all
awesome.
right. Well, thank you
Thank
very
you.
much, Misty, for coming
Very
in.
cool.
We appreciate everybody. We'll be back here next Sunday with another episode of the Fitness Fanatics. Have a great week, and we'll see you next Sunday.
Done.
School tells you all about the 4 seasons: spring, summer, and so on. And then there's a way we really tell what time of year it is. Sports seasons: football season, baseball season, or even off season. Well, what's the chocolate season? Well, it's now, of course. And now